Friday, May 15th at approximately 5:15, and we have none other than the world speaker, world coach, world motivator, Miss Ona Brown, Queen Ona Brown. Queen Ona Brown, welcome to the Brown Social Network. I am so incredibly happy to see you. What say you to social media land, and how are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. I'm excited to be here with you, Mr. Ted Victor. You are amazing. And I'm glad to be in the land of the living.
Yes, yes. Considering the circumstances, the global pandemic, we definitely have to count our blessings. As you know,
Yeah,
I've lost 3 family members. Have you been
so
impacted
sorry.
by, thank you so much. Have you been impacted by COVID-19? Have you lost anybody? How are you doing?
No, we haven't directly, but we know of people. My assistant knows of someone who was a coworker of hers in the past, and she passed recently. So that's about it. It hasn't really hit home for me in that way. And my heart goes out to the people that it has. And it's just definitely a very challenging, interesting time that we're in for sure.
Well, this is the main reason why I wanted to speak to you during this moment, during this time. I'm pretty sure you can imagine now more than ever on a Brown, now more than ever, folks are in need of guidance. Folks have lost their jobs. Folks are living in fear. And folks are wondering whether or not they're going to be able to withstand the attack of this virus. What say you in the space of fear? Because if anybody can get us to the other side of COVID-19, it is Ona Brown. What say you in this moment of fear globally to our people?
This is a wonderful time for us to reinvent ourselves and to reset ourselves and to dive into the work that we get to do on who we are and whose we are. And so it's really a challenge, I believe, more than anything, for us to see what it is that we're really resonating with in life. What are some things that we put off for ourselves? We've said to ourselves, I don't have time, or I'm not able to do what I love to do because I have to work, or I'm covering bills. This is a time where we have no excuses. If you're not making it happen now, if you're not launching that business now, if you're not writing that book now, if you're not working on that new invention or that idea or that creation, that creativity that all of us have inside of us, but oftentimes we're not tapping into. If you're not doing it now, the reality is you just didn't want to do it. You're just hiding out, and you've used the lack of time as an excuse. And I've always said for years that you cannot have both your excuses and your results. You have to be willing to trade in all of your good excuses for great results. And so this is the time for us to do that. We have the ability to co create with God anything that we want to co create in this life. However, oftentimes we get boggled down because we feel as if we've got to do what we need to do to keep bread on the table. We got to do what we need to do to go out and make things happen. And so we get lost. We lose our actual core values. We lose our core desires, or the vision that we had for ourselves at a younger age, because we found a way to like escape it. We found a way to avoid it. And so this is a time now, Ted, for us to really go within, because all of the answers that we're seeking are inside of us.
Okay, you've touched on quite a few things, and you know, as a person who has really admired you for many years, I admire your work, your writings, your books for many years as an author. For the people out there, because hundreds, if not thousands, of people will see this broadcast, can you kind of break down how do you identify, or how would you label or explain fear? Because fear, as far as I'm concerned, is kind of like a shutdown system where you cannot really go anywhere, you cannot do anything. How do you explain fear? And then we're going to talk about step by steps on how to overcome it.
Okay. So fear is, there's levels to this, right? So there's levels to fear. And it's not always just being in the house, you can't go anywhere. It is, to me, case in point, I'll give you a perfect example. My father, who's been working on getting this book out called You've Got to Be Hungry for the last, I would say, somewhere around 15, 17 years. it has been a challenge because he stopped and he started over, and then I'll be there and almost across the finish line, and then he would scrap it. He was like, no, I got to start from scratch. I got to start over. And for some reason, he just felt like it wasn't right. He wanted it to be right. He's been a New York bestseller. He's written books like Live Your Dreams, It's Not Over Until You Win. And so I saw this was a big challenge for him, and it was bothering him. He was talking about it before he went to bed. He was talking about it when he woke up in the morning. And so you've got to realize if something is like your magnificent obsession and it's keeping you up in the middle of the night, it's time for you to find a way. So I decided oftentimes I'm willing to put my cape on and help others and do things for others that I won't be willing to do for me. Now I have books that I've written and I've had books that I've put out, but I never launched an actual publishing company. I said, Dad, I'm going to get this book done. I'm going to stay up with editors around the clock for the next 2 weeks. We're going to get this book to the point to where it's ready to go to print. We're going to launch it. And I launched Brown Family Publishing, and it's now available on Amazon. And we're getting ready to take it to Ingram Sparks, and we're going to get it into other platforms as well. Now, does Dr. Ona Brown know anything about launching a publishing company? No, but guess what? I had to figure it out. We are in a day and a time where how is none of your business. But Dad has been saying that for years. He's been saying how is none of your business. And we're also in the information age. So the things that we don't know, we can easily find out. You can find out how to get the copyright. You can find out how to get the ISBN numbers. You can find out how to get the right formatting in order to submit to the various platforms to make a body of work available. So all of these things are something that I took on, and I had no idea what I had said that I was willing to do, what I had signed up for. Was I fearful? Yes. Was there a part of me nervous about, will you be able to do this, and will you be able to do it effectively and correctly, and something that will make him proud and make your family proud? Yes, all of that was a part of it. But I had to take that fear on. I had to face that dragon and had to decide that even though a part of me was saying that I was inadequate, a part of me was saying I didn't have the skill set, a part of me said you need to probably let someone else do this and might know better. I decided that I wasn't going to allow that to dictate who I was in the moment. And I'm so glad that I did, because we got an Amazon bestseller on paperback and Kindle. And I believe we're going to New York bestseller as well as we get it into more of these platforms. And I'm learning so many things that are powerful skills that I will not only be able to utilize in the future for myself, but also for my clients that I help to give birth to their message, because I'm known as the message midwife.
I like that, the message midwife. I would like to join you on your journey, Queen Brown, to get the word out. Fortunately for me, I have somewhat of a platform with a few thousand participants, multilingual participants, and I'd like to be able to have your work not just be in the American market, because as you know, I'm from Latin America. I want to see your work in Latin America. I want to see it in Spanish. I want to see it in French. I want to see it in Portuguese. And so whenever you are ready, you just call me, and then we will get on this platform and we will disseminate this information to get the people out there to read your book, because I do believe the Divine Architect has all of us here with a mission and a purpose. And I do believe one of your many talents is to absolutely help people out of a very dark, or a very gray space, I should say, because I'm dark, so I should say out of a gray space. Now, I recently interviewed a judge, and she said something to me I'd like to be able to share with you. She said, because I ask all the time, how did you reach your goal? How is it that you became a judge, this mainstream professional? And she said, Ted, I have a master's degree in failure, but a PhD in getting up.
Come on now.
So when she said that, I said, I like that. And then immediately you and your dad came to mind, because, your dad says, you guys say, if you can look up, you can get up, right?
Right.
So talk to us about when somebody is listening to the next level or trying to get to the next level, and they have so many doors that's closing in their face, and they just keep on hearing no and no and no. I interviewed another judge. She had to apply 15 times, 15 years to become
Mm.
a judge, to be appointed by the governor. And everybody kept on saying, I mean, her mother died through the process. Everybody kept on saying, oh, forget it. You're never going to become appointed. And, on the 14th try, she dreamt, her mother says, try again. And on the 15th time, she tried. I am
Mm.
looking for an avenue to have this conversation be for the person out there who's been knocking on the door 100 times and is about to give up, to knock on 101st time. So how do you talk to the people who said, but Ona, I did it. I did what you told me. I wrote to everybody, I called everybody, and nobody wanted to give me the opportunity to publish a book. What do you say?
Yes, I say don't wait, create, right? Don't wait,
Oh,
create.
wait,
Because
create. I love it.
yes, I can remember my first book of 101 affirmations for daily living called Affirmicize, where I invited people to step into the gymnasium of their mind to affirm truth, power, peace, prosperity, harmony, and love. And I was waiting for people to validate me. I was waiting for someone to give me a publishing deal. I was dancing to the mailbox every day. I was making all of these calls. And finally, one of Dad's publishers, Simon and Schuster, got back with me and they said, "We love your book." I said, "Great, talk to me," because I was ready to sign my deal. And they said, "The only challenge is we're not really sure how to put it into what category to put it into. It's inspiration meets self-development meets spirituality. Like it's coming from a whole lot of directions. And unfortunately, I know you've been waiting for about 9 months, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to publish this because it's not something that's a book that we would traditionally publish."
Because they couldn't put you in a box. Because they couldn't put you in a box.
Right. And I said, "Oh, okay, thank you." And I got off the phone. I was devastated. I felt so rejected. I felt so frustrated because I had waited for months. And then it just fell on me. It just dawned on me, like, why would you wait for someone else to validate something that was given to you directly by God?
Amen. Amen.
Why would
Amen.
we wait? And so you don't have to wait on anyone now to do anything. Most
For
things
you.
you require some direction, you might require some coaching, you might require some consulting or some support. But the reality is, when you look at platforms like Fiverr and Upwork and Guru, there's so many different platforms where you can tap into the information and knowledge of someone that's an expert in the industry. If you want to create an app, if you and I need to create an app, we can tap into someone that's their thing. If we need to build a house, we can tap into someone that's their thing. If we need to build a new software that's never been created, we can access someone that's their thing, and we can hire them and bring them on board and tap into their expertise. So you can actually stay in your lane and soar with your strength and be willing to and open to building yourself a powerful team of people that can help you to do what it is that you need to do. And that's the thing. Most people are not willing to ask for help. Dad has said for years, ask for help, not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong, and
Yes,
ask
sir.
for help and don't stop until you get it. So it's going to require you to get yourself out of the way. It's going to require you to be able to learn how to vet people, because there are going to be people that's going to promise you Jupiter, stars, and the moon, and then probably not even be able to do half of what they said. So you're kissing all of these frogs before you find your prince. And then you actually find someone who's good at what they do, who's professional, who works from a place of integrity, who honors the timelines and the time and the actual agreement that you set in stone. And
Mhm.
they deliver. And when you find those people, you stay connected with those people and you build, you continue to expand your team, but don't feel like you have to do it all yourself. There's a reason why we're put here on this planet together. And according to statistics, one goose can fly 75% faster in formation with other geese. And so if nature is telling us the power of having a collective, a team, if multi-million and billion-dollar corporations are doing alliances, sometimes even with their former competitors, in order to stay afloat in a global economy, then who are we to think that we have to do everything ourselves? When I'm speaking before audiences, I would always have the audience repeat after me, and I would say solo. They would say solo. I'd say, oh no. They would say, so basically solo, oh no. So me, myself, and I, it's antiquated,
Solo, oh
dated.
no.
Yeah, solo, oh no. It's antiquated, dated methodology that does not serve you, thinking you have to do it yourself, not knowing how to go into a room and work the room and connect with the stars in the room. Even if you're in a Zoom room or if you're on a virtual summit, there's some people in there that you need to connect with. If you're in or if you're on a platform like LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, you should be sending out so many messages saying, hey, I like the work that you're doing. I would like to know more about the services that you provide. I like to see if there's a way we can synergize and possibly build together. It's sending that out. Why would you want to send out a certain amount of those? Because if you send out 10 a day and you're working 5 days a week, that's 50 in a week. You multiply that times four, that's 200 for the month. Some of that's going to stick. Even if it's 5%, 10%, and you find some winners, some people that are cut from the same cloth and branches of the same tree and want to build and grow together, that's what you want to do in order to expand your network, because your network does determine your net worth.
Network. That's right. That's right. So birds of a feather flock together, huh?
Yes, as grandmama always said.
Yes. Choose your environment very carefully. Um, I have so much I want to talk to you, and we're going to have to do this in a series. Talk about something that we and some of the listeners who are joining us here may know something about. Talk about the power of words. Talk about the power of self-language.
Yes.
I could tell you stories about that, and when when someone says something, the physiological, psychological, emotional consequences of the statements, either verbal or mental, are multifold. And
Yes.
so when you talk about your first book and the affirmations, talk about the power of words, please, because I'm going to share this with everybody I know, but particularly my students, my high schoolers, my young girls of color, my young people who don't come from a lot of money. So talk about the repercussions and the power of words, what we say to ourselves and what we allow others to say to us.
Yes, one of the things that when I'm doing my sessions with clients, and I've coached clients that are what I consider to be the down and out, as well as the up and out. So having clients that were worth one particular one worth over 300 million, private jet, private helicopter. One of the things that we uncovered was that there were some cruel things that were said to him at a young age, and he utilized that to push himself to be this high achiever. However, even though he had all of the trappings of success in the back of his mind, in his subconscious, he still did not feel worthy. He still did not feel as if he had what it took to be accepted, to be valued. And so that's something that is so important for people to really look at and to face, is the power of words. And to me, at this stage, we can't really turn back the hands of time and unsay some of the things that were already said. That's not possible. But what's possible is for us to be aware. When you can raise your awareness of some of the negative inner conversation that's taking place, and become more aware of the inner critic that lives there, that has a heyday with your self-worth and your self-esteem based upon some things that have been said, and then all the things that were said, you actually started to somehow in your core of your being believe, and then as a result of you believing it, you started to live out what you heard, and so you watch your actions mimic what was said. And so it's like this domino effect. So that's why it's so important. According to psychologists, we get somewhere around, I think, 70,000 thoughts a day. We cannot determine which thoughts come into our minds. The only thing we can determine is which thoughts we choose to dwell on, right? So we can choose to dwell on this. So when you hear this
Hello?
here, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
When you hear this negative thought that shows up that says, I can't do this, I don't have what it takes, I'm not worthy of this, I don't have the right connections, I don't have the right money, I don't have the right education, whatever you're hearing in your head, what you can do is start to replace that thought with something that's more affirmative, that's more powerful, that's
Mhm,
more uplifting, that's more, even if you have to call forth those things that be not as though they were, which
mhm,
is
mhm,
sometimes what we have to do, right?
mhm,
So that
mhm,
means that I may have to say to myself, Ona, even though you've never launched a publishing company, even though you've never had this type of information or expertise in your background,
mhm,
you are a brilliant, powerful woman. And you learn very quickly. What you don't know, your passion and your willingness to become a student will help to offset those areas. And you got the connection ability. You know how to build relationships with people that may know the things that you don't know. And you're willing to invest in that. So I'm not a type of person that's going to say, let me take you to lunch so I can pluck your brain. I never like when people say that to me. I don't want my brain plucked. And
Yo, what do you think, Pluck?
I don't want nothing plucked, okay? You know, you say, this is not what I have worked for years to become, to reach a mastery level, which is what Malcolm Gladwell talked about when he said, anytime you put over 10,000 hours in something, you reach a mastery level. You don't reach a mastery level for people to just come and pluck your brain.
That's
You
right,
reach
that's right, that's right.
mastery level so that you can be respected in your industry as an expert, and you can bring that expertise to people that are seeking that information and that knowledge so that they can grow to their next level of greatness and power.
I heard that. I heard that. All right. So therapists need therapists. Coaches need coaches.
Yes,
Who motivates you, Ona Brown? Where do you get your rejuvenation from?
great question. I would say my mother is a big influence in my life. And she has always been this person that has been able to speak life into me when I'm going through a challenge with my business, when I'm not sure how to deal with a difficult situation in my business, or maybe a conflict or something where a contract is about to go south. I don't know how she does it. I believe that sometimes people are just degreed in the spirit, but she speaks from a different space, and she shows me this is who you are and you have the ability to get through this. So definitely my mother. Also, I have people that have been there, done that, and got a t-shirt and a keychain with it to go with it in different areas. There's a gentleman named Mr. Solomon that has taken companies public before, and he's built multi-million-dollar companies, several companies that he has ownership in, and he's a mentor of mine. So I'm a person that's constantly, there's someone that Carol Ann Taylor, who is a spiritual mother of mine, who has always spoken life into me and always given me guidance. And on those rough days when you feel like throwing in the towel and wondering if you have enough to make it through, and feeling as if you should to consider that give up, that give up mountain is so big in front of you. When you have those type of days, you got to have those people that can come around you and speak life into you and pour wisdom into you and give you guidance and support. And so, yes, I have quite a few people that I pull on in that way. I don't reach out to them often, but when I do, they know that I'm not coming from a place of just what I can take, but also what can I bring and how can I be of service. So also you got to make sure that you do a lot of deposits, because I've deposited a lot in a lot of different people, so much so that when there haven't been any really real withdrawals, and when there is a time where I say, "Hey, I need you," they drop what they're doing and they come to help because I've been there for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So you're talking about being of service. And I find myself to be in an interesting situation in my life right now because of what I do on social media and the different languages and the outreach. Yesterday, there was a young lady who reached out to me, and pretty much a lot of the elected officials in Broward County, I have a contact with them. She reached out to me on social media and she says, Ted, and this is a young lady, when people are running for office, she'll put on their t-shirt and, carry their flyers around and say, vote for Ted Victor. I mean, not for me personally, but that's just an example. The young lady is homeless now, homeless with kids. And I'm not sure if you, at the end of the day, because you give so many deposits, if you feel depleted and so forth, I'm not sure if you feel that you absolutely have to find the answer, because people are going to come to you with things that you may or may not be able to solve. So what would you say? Because the only thing I could say to her was, hang tight, I'm going to get a referral for you. I'm going to get in touch with the mayor and I'm going to see if I can look for some overnight housing for you and have them, because there's a thin slice of my brain was thinking, okay, is my house big enough? Can I find a room for her to live in here? But I guess like, okay, you gotta be reasonable. You can't bring the whole world into your house. So are there times when you feel like maybe you don't have an answer for somebody who's coming to you for help? Because, in addition to what you do already for the universe, this broadcast, people are going to come to you. When people are afraid their backs are against the wall, they got kids to feed, they're going to come to you. And so, do you feel like you have to find the answer for everybody? Is there ever a time where you say, look, I don't know what to do? So,
You know what? No, I never say I don't know, but here's what I want to say to you, because you have a big heart just like me. And one of the things that I had to learn, one of my biggest lessons that I had to realize, is that you don't want to take on, even as a coach, it's not about me giving you the answers for your life. It's about
mm,
me showing up as
mm,
a committed listener, as a
mm,
compassionate person, to walk you and escort you through the options and the answers that are inside of you.
mm,
Because now I've empowered you. Because if I keep putting my S on my chest and my cape on to come and save the day for you, then that becomes a habit and a
mm,
pattern. And you start to feel like you can start to see me as your mini God. I'm not your
mm,
mini God. I
mm.
might be your girlfriend or your, but I'm not your mini
Might be
God.
my queen, might be my queen.
But I'm not your mini God.
I
See,
hear
you
that.
have the God presence inside of you. Each every one of us have that inside of us. We just need to tap into it. So really, the other thing is, by living in such a disinformation age, I mean, literally, they used to say we're 7 degrees, 7 degrees of separation. That means that you and I, if we decided we want to get on the phone with the Dalai Lama or to have a connection with him, we could make about 7 connections. We're 7 connections. They say it's less now, from being able to be on the phone with the Dalai Lama, with the
Wow.
resources and the connections and the people that we have met throughout
Yes.
life.
Our
So
circles are
if
getting
that is
smaller
the
and smaller. Yes, yes, that is
exactly,
true.
so if that's the case, then it's never about I don't know. It's about, wow, give me some time to ponder that. Give me some time to, go into the secret places on that. And if it's 24 hours, if it's 48 hours, whatever it is. But normally, if I go into my quiet space, I can get an insight. I can remember a face. I can remember a business card. I can remember a person that I met when I was in London that said they had a connection somewhere in Florida with housing. You just never know all the people that you're crossing paths with. Dad has always said that 3-yard rule. everyone that comes within 3 yards of you. Either you have a blessing for them, they have a blessing for you, or both. And so I understand the value of social capital. I understand the value of building those relationships and nurturing those relationships. So I say to you, it's commendable that you know the type of heart that you have, that you would think, okay, my house first. That's where I think always. And then I say, okay, now that we've gone from the heart, let's get logical. So what we don't want is me pulling my hair out, unable to be the speaker, coach, and trainer that I am within 4 or 5 weeks, because I basically displaced myself in my own home, right? Now, there is a thing where sometimes I've had situations where I found housing for someone, but it wasn't available for 72 hours. It wasn't available for 48 hours. If I had the capital, I've had situations where I had the capital, I put them up in a hotel until it's available. If I didn't have the capital, look, we're going to get some sleeping bags, we're going to get an air mattress, and we're going to work it out until it's available. So we are our brothers and sisters keeper. We are here to help and assist and support one another. That is the purpose of us being together. But we want to do it from a place of wisdom, and we want to do it from a place where we're giving from our overflow, as Ayana Van Sant said. And we're not giving from a place of depletion and positioning ourselves to be malnourished mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So that's why it's so important. I remember, and I always talk about when I speak, when they said that we have to put the oxygen on ourselves first if by chance we lose altitude. I saw this as selfish, and I'm like, I'm not listening to these people. I love elders, I love children, and if it happens, I'm gonna save them first. And finally, it dawned on me: if you lose consciousness, owner, who can you save? Who can you
No
save?
one, no
No
one.
one. So I have to put the oxygen on myself first. And that is the part of me being able to make sure that anything that has anything to do with me will be at its best. So I can give from my highest and be able to help those from a place of power.
That is absolutely beautiful. Now, out of respect for your time, and you're gonna have to say, Ted, stop, because I can talk to you forever. Out of respect for your time, I want to talk a bit about the future, because there are quite a few questions I have here for you. Where is Ona Brown in 5, 10 years? Is Ona Brown at a major publishing firm? Does she have her own television studio? Where is Ona Brown in the future? Because I think I want to be part of that journey. What is the vision for you? Because you create visions for others. You created visions for me many times. I'm still working on getting to the next level. What is the next level for Ona Brown?
Yeah, so the next level for me, I have been training and coaching speakers since 1995, before everyone and their mother became a coach. And so
Yes.
so
Yes.
one of the things that I did was, because I just wanted to help people in a big way. And the name of my company, World Impact Now, which is when it was about me being able to deposit as much good as possible into people, so that and into the world, so that the world could be a better place before I take my last breath. So that was my main objective. Now I have matured more as a businesswoman, and I realize that all of these people that I've helped to give birth to their messages, once they get their message out and they're ready to share it and deliver it on a stage or on a Zoom or wherever, the next stage is to take that body of work and to publish it. So I have a progression of what can happen with the message midwife, and now with Brown Family Publishing. And so I'm really excited about duplicating myself and others. I've never given birth to a child, but I feel as if all children are my children. And I know that we're living a world where there's so many children that don't get the guidance and the direction and the wisdom poured into them that they need. So I feel a responsibility to do more work with our young people. Hopefully, we will have summer camps again. We will be doing things to empower our young people so that they can avoid a lot of the pitfalls that we've already been through, and we can help them to step into their greatness and power at a younger age, and to be able to not have to be limited and have self-imposed limitations and fears, and self-sabotaging behavior that's cheating them out of the life that they can live for themselves, which is a life that is limitless and boundless and colorful and beautiful. And so that's where I see myself, is definitely helping, doing more work with our youth, helping the people, the coaching clients and the people that I consult to grow to their next level of power, to find their voice and to make a difference in the world.
That's amazing. Do you have any plans for travel for the rest of this year, or are you in the limbo like everybody else is? Do you have, because I'm pretty sure we're going to start flying again and traveling again very soon. Do you have any upcoming conferences or presentations or speeches coming up in 2020?
No, we've been doing a lot of Zooms and lives at home, and I've been loving it. Like, I love pajamas from the waist down. It's fun, it's good, and it's so much more relaxing. I didn't realize how much I'm always loved being at home. And so I am super productive. I am getting so many different projects completed. I am writing every day. I'm spending time in my Linus blanket, and I'm enjoying the Linus blanket time with having the ability to have my wine, have my, take my little breaks, do my walk, all those things, and creating my little gym in the garage. So I am good. I love life, and I'm not required to go. I've traveled the world at least several times. So we are in a place where we're enjoying being at home, and we're enjoying being productive, and we're learning, and we're growing, and we're rising to the occasion. That's what I would say to you. This is your time to rise to the occasion, and there's no excuses. You have the ability to adjust. Have the ability to adapt. Some of you are going to have to trade in all of your employee skills and understand the value of learning entrepreneurial skills. And knowing that, just as my grandmother said, it's a poor rat that only has one hole to get his cheese out of. So we don't need to be creating a situation where we're saying, well, where are the jobs? Where are the jobs? What are you doing? What can you make? Can you make a mask? Okay. Can you find a way? Can They have like how to tutorials on just about everything on YouTube, that's
Mm,
up to you to see what resonates with you.
mm.
And I'm going to start painting. I'm going to do some painting. I've got my photography kit that's dusted, needs to be dusted off. I've always wanted to do photography. I've got the time now. There's no excuse. And the beautiful thing is, we have multiple skills. We're not one dimensional people. Just like my book, it wasn't a one dimensional book. So don't put me in a box, and don't put a label on me, because labels are for jars.
Labels are for jars. That is true. Labels are for jars. I like that. I love that, as a matter of fact. Labels are for jars, according to Queen Oda Brown. Queen Oda Brown, I would like at some point in the future, in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months, maybe even tomorrow, for you to come back and talk to us, talk to us again and share some more wisdom for the audience, for social media land. If, for example, someone sees this video and your message resonates with them, how can you be reached? Because I, I don't even know where to begin. People are really scared now. This is why people have been going to church for some time, but they can't even go to church now. So therefore, it's amazing. So how can you be reached? Because when I have a problem, I'm gonna call me Simona Brown. So therefore,
Right.
so how can you be reached?
And that's good. So I'm on the social media platforms, of course. They can reach me on Facebook, Own with Ona, Instagram, Own with Ona, OWNWITHONA. And so what I would say to you, they can go also to onabrown.com, ONABROWN.com. But I want to tell you that this is an interesting time, because we realize now more than ever that church is something that you can create. You can have time with God in your secret place. And now it's time for you to create that, and to learn how to utilize what we can do to stay connected. Unfortunately, we are living in a time where we're more technically connected than we've ever been, and more emotionally and mentally and spiritually disconnected than we've ever been. And now we're even physically disconnected. And I'm worried about my people that are, maybe suffering from touch deprivation. According to studies, we're supposed to get it somewhere around 14 hugs a day. And I know I'm behind, not 14 hugs a week or a day, one of the two, but I'm behind. And so you got to make sure that you're giving yourself, you're hugging yourself if you need to hug yourself. You're loving yourself. When's the last time you made an amazing meal just for you? As if
Mm.
someone like the Honorable Nelson Mandela or Oprah Winfrey or whoever that you would consider to be royalty might be showing up to the dinner. Have you laid that out for yourself with the fine linen and the fine china and the candles lit and the music going? All of those things. Love on you. This is a time for you to reclaim your time, as my lady would say. What's the senator's name that I love? She said, reclaiming my time, reclaiming my time. You know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't know who that is.
Oh, I thought you would know that.
No, no.
Maxine Waters.
Maxine Waters in California. Yes, there you go.
Yes, she was saying, reclaiming my time. So here's your time to reclaim your time. And here is your time to love on you. Give yourself a bubble bath. Give yourself time to read. Give yourself time to exercise. Give yourself time to learn something new. Don't come out of this pandemic without new skills, knowledge, and information that will help you to sharpen your axe and to create more of a competitive edge for yourself.
Absolutely.
Make yourself so that you will be able to build on your skills, your natural abilities, so that you will be able to take that and parlay that into ways to make money. I have a course called Mastering Your Skills, and no, it's not mastering. It's called maximizing your skills and multiplying your money, maximizing your talents and multiplying your
And your
money. You can
money.
tell it was been a while ago when I created it. But here's the thing. I did that because I'm frustrated when I meet people and they say, well, I want to make more money. And I say, well, how are you making money? Well, I work a job. I'll say, and what else? Well, that's it. Okay, so what do you love? What do you love to do? Like, I'm looking at your outfit, it's flawless. Did you put it together or do you have a fashion consultant? No, I'm really good with clothes. People tell me that all the time. There's your money. There's your money. It's right in front of you. You're missing it. I come into your space. Oh, look at the decor. Did you hire an interior decorator? No, this is my natural gift. I'm like, this is your money. Here's your money. You're great with numbers. Your accounting is flawless. You have receipts from 22. You got everything you need, and you're missing these abilities to bring these various skills and these abilities to the marketplace, to maximize on it and to create streams of income and to be of service to people that need it. There are people that will pay for your gifts that you're sitting on, your talents that you're sitting on and you're taking for granted. Don't take your gifts for granted. Don't take what you naturally love for granted.
Okay, well, on that note, again, out of respect for your time, because I'm hearing you speak to social media land, but since we met, how many years ago we met? What, 10, 20 years, 15 years ago? You're also speaking to me, and I'm saying to myself, my goodness, this is just telling me what she was telling me, well, 20 years ago. She is so consistent. So I'm like sitting down, and I'm planning in my mind, okay, I need to go ahead and open up that journal again. I need to go ahead and outline time. One of the things that I need to work on, and we need to talk about this at another time, is to not be afraid to ask for money. I've always been, because there's culturally it was something that was taught you to don't ask anybody for anything, don't ask anybody for anything. But now, the Bible also says, asking you shall receive, right? So
Right.
therefore I have to get over the hump of saying, okay, you know what, I do have a skill set that is valuable, and I should be able to be compensated for that, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
overcoming the fear of asking you for to be compensated for the skill set. We have to definitely talk
And
about.
what does that look like for you when you see yourself asking for money? Maybe that's the change. It's not that you're asking for money. You're providing a service that a person gets, or they may not get to, but they get to invest in.
That's right. Mm,
And this is the price. This is what price I have established. Now, I have a price for what I do, but I've also been able to compromise my price if a person can bring value to me in a different way.
that's
So
right.
if they say, okay, well, when American Airlines said when I was living in Miami, Florida, they said, well, we want you to speak, we want you to do a customer service training, but we don't have your full fee for you to do a customer service training with hundreds of our employees. I said, okay, well, what do you have? you know, so they told me what they had. They said, okay. I said, okay, well, that's close, but that's not it. What else do you have? There's not all there's more things than money. There's called perks,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
They said, well, we can actually we can give you some round trip tickets. I said, I think I'd like that wherever you go. Yeah, I had some open round trip tickets. All I had to do was write the destination in and who I wanted to go with me. So I got the fee that they were able to pay me, which was partial, thousands of dollars, and then they also gave me the 6 round trip tickets. So I was happy. They were happy. They didn't have my full fee, but we found a win-win scenario. Always look for win-win scenarios. I don't even want scenarios where I'm the only person winning. I want win-win-win
For
scenarios where
everybody.
everyone wins. And when you give that, then you build a lasting relationship, and then they want to build with you and grow with you. So there's always ways to win together. So don't think like you're asking someone for money. You don't have to ask for anything. You have a powerful light, you are a brilliant king, and you are talented, and you are amazing. So when you allow people to have access to your talents and your gifts and your light, then they are going to be able to find a way to invest in that,
That's right.
and they will get a return on that investment.
All right, that. And on that note, I'm going to ask you one more time to please repeat how people can get in touch with you because you are a phenomenal soul. You are a phenomenal resource. You are truly doing God's work. You are a child of the divine architect. And I really cannot thank you enough for your words of wisdom, for your love, your compassion, your sincerity, because you don't really see that often in one package, in one person. So please let social media land now know how they can reach you because I would like for them to be able to plug into you. There's, only one on the Brown, but eventually you'll get to them. I want everybody to be calling you because, like I said, people are living in fear now. They need guidance. They need some inspiration. So
Yes, they can go to Own with Ona on Instagram. Own with Ona on Instagram. Follow me there. You can go to Own with Ona on Facebook. And then you can go to onabrown.com. And definitely, also, I would encourage people to go to masteringmystory.com.
masteringmystory.com. That's a different
Masteringmystory.com.
that's a different website.
That's a different website. For those that's ready
Masteringmystory.com.
to really dive into mastering their story, we're going to start a small group, an intimate group that will allow you to. I'm going to take that group through a process each week, and you'll be able to master your story. I just finished with a group of about 30 people that were from all over the world, and they just graduated out, and it was amazing. They said, "Oh, I was just working on. I thought I was just going to work on my story. I didn't know I was going to work on myself and who I am as a mother, as a father, as a husband, as a sister, as a daughter, as a wife." So, yeah, I believe everyone needs to know what their USP is, right? Your unique selling point. And I believe that with
USP, unique selling point.
yes,
USP, unique selling
yes,
point. I like
my
that.
unique selling point is that I'm not interested in people that just want to grab the mic and work on their story without working on themselves. Because to
Mm,
me, that's like building a house without a foundation. So you
mm,
can't talk to me about working on some things and doing things if you haven't been willing to go there yourself to do the work yourself and to face your own stuff. I have
Mm,
to face my inadequacies and my fears and my insecurities on a day to day basis because iron sharpens iron. And when I'm
mm.
challenging my clients to raise the bar on themselves and to be willing to let go of who they are for who they can become, that has to be something that I'm willing to do as well.
As well, as well, as well. I love that. I love that. Thank you so very much. There was something you gave to me years ago in Miami, and I'm trying to close out with you. I promise, because I know you got things to do. You gave me something whereby I would say to a student in my classroom, don't do that. And then the student said, well, Mr. Victor, you do that as well. Like, for example, if I'm speaking, I would say, and I say to my students, when you speak, be mindful of your words and do not use fillers, don't say, and me not even thinking about it. So, well, Mr. Victor, you do that as well. And then I think of Ona Brown and I put my hands out like this and I said, you know what, do not get the message confused with the messenger, okay? If, if I'm an alcoholic and I say don't abuse alcohol, that's still a good
That's still a
advice.
good word. That's
That's
wisdom.
that's right. Okay. So that, I just want you to know that your presence is meaningful on throughout the world in my life. I want you to understand that I value our friendship, our siblingship.
Yes.
I every once in a while I will thumb through some of our memories and some of your words, and including some of the words of your father, the great Les Brown as well. But just know that your existence matters on the
Thank
Brown.
you.
I want
Thank
you to
you.
know that you're here for a purpose, for a reason, and many good leaders will come from you. Many good leaders will come from your words and will come from your presence. And I want you to know that I adore you, I admire you, I value you, and I look forward to doing this again.
Thank you. Likewise. And I have to say to you that, I think oftentimes we can be our worst critic and we're very hard on ourselves. And when I look at you, I shine with pride and glow with honor because I have watched you evolve and grow and develop. Now you know in your mind you're not where you want to be, and you sure ain't where you want to be, but you ain't where you was, right?
That's,
So I'm so proud of who you have become as a community activist, as a
thank you,
father, as a husband,
thank
as
you,
a person who has a compassion, a heart for people. And
thank
you
you,
are working to make a difference and creating a shift in the culture and the narrative of who we are as people. So I'm so grateful for that. And I'm continually excited to watch this journey of your greatness unfold.
thank you. Mm,
So thank you
thank
for
you.
being who you are.
Thank you so very much. And with that being said, so we don't stay on the phone for another month, on the Zoom for another month. I love you and thank you and adore you, admire you, and look forward to doing this again. Please continue the good work.
Thank you.
Good,
Blessings.
good night, love. Good night. Good night.